Powder Blue. This was requested by Boopity-Bop, you know, sort of a deep cut on the country album. It's got a fun riff. I think we'll just go over the chords first, then we'll go over the riff. So it's standard tuning and everything. So the chord is basically just a C chord over the riff. So right, and then the verse is going to be A flat major, G major, C. It does have an alternating bass thing, but for now we'll just say C. And then it's just that. Of course, you can also play it like this, but it's just a C major. And then the chorus, that's going to be and then it's back into the riff. So that's going to be, it's guess, I don't know if there's an open A in this. There very well might be. I just included it anyway. But if not, sort of a B minor second inversion there. But it's just a A minor shape, but you move it up a whole step. And then maybe you have the low A in there. But you really just sort of stab it. And then you strum that full A minor. Not so much the high E string I don't really hear, but... And then you sort of lightly strum it, so... And then you slide up, and then an upstroke with a light downstroke, and then an upstroke when you go back to the A minor, right? So... And then back into the C, again with alternating bass. We'll get to that. And then again... And now you just go to G. You could do open chord here, and if you just want to strum along, it'll probably be easier. This is what Diener does live. He just, not sure if it's power chord or if he bars it, but he kind of does a little bass slide there. So that's pretty much the chords, and then the song ends with the riff. We'll get to that. So those are all the chords. So let's go to the riff then. So we're going to start off with a C. It's basically a C power chord. You focus on the lower notes of that, like maybe up to the high C. I don't really hear the high third in there. I bar it, including the high third, just in case I hit that, right? So it doesn't sound terrible. So, but just lower notes of a C power chord. And then I'm going to pluck it and then hammer on chromatically on the A string from the 5th to the 6th to the 7th. And then on the D string, 5 to 7, back to 5, hammer on, pull off. Pluck it once. And then you definitely want to hit the G and the B strings on 5th fret, and also probably the D string. But, you know, you don't necessarily have to hit that, but you definitely want to hit that. So you get the root in the major third of the C chord. You could, if you really wanted to, you could just slide down and hit that C major, but I think it just sounds better, a bit smoother. So, right, so D, G, and B on the 5th, and then on the G string, same exact rhythm. We're on the 7th, 8th, and 9th fret, and then move up to the B string, do exactly what you did before, but now it's on the 8th to 10th, back to 8. And he rakes into it. I could say rake instead of fret because Diener technically did not play this on the album. You know, whatever. I hit this double stop the first time you hit this. But he's not really doing that on the album. So if you want to be faithful, you can just go, right, just rake into that 8th on the high E. Or you could just, if you want to be like me, add a bit more like energy and fullness into it when you're playing it live. Include that double stop. So same note on the, same fret on the B string. So hit it 2 more times and then 11 to 10 to 8 on the B string. And then there's two parts there. There's one that I know for a fact the guitar is doing. On the album, it almost sounds like it's probably like the pedal steel doing it. So I'll show you the lower part first. That's what Diener plays live. Right, so I don't know if he's sliding up there or if he's plucking them both. Again, he rakes into it. It's going to be 8 to 9 on the G, and then 8 on the B, 11 to 10 to 8 on the G, and then he's going to throw in a little hook there, a little bend, bending up, classic bluesy bend from the minor to the major third, and then the C note on the 10th of the D. Now what he's probably doing is he hits that and then slides down so you can hit the verse part. But what I like to sort of do if I was playing this one part was hit that same fret on the A string. It's the lower fifth, right? It's probably not what he's doing though. And then there's a higher part which is probably pedal steel, and you can totally play this. Play both parts as like little double stops and thirds and whatnot. So that higher part is 7 to 8 on your B string, then 8 on your high E, same thing you did on the G string there. So 11 to 10 to 8. And you don't necessarily have to have that little hook in there, but I think why not? And then end up on the major third there on the 9th of the G. And again, he probably just hits that on the G string and then slides down. If you want to be synchronous with the timing. But again, I think sounds kind of cool to hit the C note on the D string after that. Right? And then if you want to play them both at the same time, you just play them both at the same time. So minor third there, minor dyad, up a half step, and then double stop there. And this can be kind of tricky to hit this with my pinky, at least for me, after hitting this. Same fret on the G and B, 11 to 10 to 8, and a little hook there, a little bendy up. Then if I'm doing both parts, then I definitely will just slide after doing that. A little major dyad, the C, 10 of the D, and 9 of the G. Alright, so I'll just do the lower part because that's what Dean does live. So all in all, it's right, and then if I did both parts, it'd be okay. That's pretty much the riff. And there is a timing variation right before the solo section. There's no guitar solo, but there's a big solo section. And there's a slight variation in the timing. So it's the same riff, except it's this slight difference. So you can hear that, right? So instead of doing that, he goes... still fits in the meter and everything. It's just that slight little, I guess you'd say, I don't know, anticipation or whatever. No, so that's the little variation on that. But other than that, it's the same. And then for the ending of the song, and you can only hear this ending on the full version of it with the Muhammad Ali talking sample, they end with the riff like this. They just end on a C chord. So they hit that last note of the riff and then wait like a whatever 8th note or whatever that is, 16th, whatever. And then they just end on a C. And you could, if you want to, you could slide down, hit that, or open, right? So whatever you want to do. I would just hit it up here. But the verse part, so I already went over the chords, but in terms of how to play them, it's basically you're going to want to arpeggiate them and play them in this classic Diener, the Hendrix kind of thing with your thumb. So the timing for the A flat, you're going to include that on the 6th of your B string. You're going to hit that bass note and, preferably the octave. You can hit whatever notes, the first 2 notes you hit. I like to hit that G string if I can. And you can just pluck all these. I like to sort of hybrid pick it. But you hit that B string, and then a lower note, whatever lower string. Pluck the B string, then pull off from the 6th fret. And then descend. And then there's a couple timing variations, but the first time he does it, he does pretty much the exact same timing. Right? And then with this little C, you can pluck this again, but again, this is what I do. I'm pretty sure what he's doing on the album is... So this is just your C major chord. You're going to hit your A string, open G, B, and then another G. Right? And then G, your low E string, but you're going to want to either hammer on like that, or you can slide up. Or what I like to do, and what I think he might be doing on the album, is he's kind of bending, and he's got this little warble, I think. You could just bend up a half step, or you could, again, I like to give it a warble. And when you hit that, if you slide up or hammer on, it's just B string, then open G. Right, so... with a little bending thing, right? And then the rhythmic variation in the G thing, it's going to be like, so you notice that, right? And there's one where he does it a little bit quicker. Right, so that's like the first note you hit after the first low note you hit. And then no pull off, you just lift your finger off and pluck that on the B string of the 3rd fret. So that's just a little variation there. And then for the chorus, I already kind of went over, but again, the timing is... And then with the G alternating bass thing. And then again. And then G. I kind of find myself doing it in this open thing. I'd slide up, or hammer on really. Hit any sort of 2 of the higher strings in between your bass note hits. And then back to the riff. And that's pretty much all the parts of the song, really. And there's no guitar solo on the album, but there's lots of solos. I'm not going to teach the pedal steel or anything. I don't really think I could do that. But what I would like to say is, for a solo like this, if you want to just know, oh, what do I need to solo in sort of box or what key, you can just do C minor kind of blues licks. It's a C major. You can just kind of do your blues lick. Your C minor pentatonic stuff. But I honestly think that you could do that, but this is where I think for a song like this, it's a deceptively simple progression, right? And you do also solo over the A minor and the G, I guess. But I think this is where knowing your way around the chords can really help out. Because you got this flat 6 chord, right? And that's pretty much a telltale sign that it's like that's flirting with the parallel minor. You know, because you flat 6, you associate, it's got that minor sound. It's kind of a borrowed chord. And then, but the, you know, you got the major 1 and the 5. So you can really focus on the minor third, the E flat there, and the C there. You can really, when you're over that chord, you can really go to town and really focus on the minor, but it's, you know, it passes pretty quick. So, and then you can sort of do an arpeggio, right? So just to make the soloing sound a little bit less clunky, more comfortable, you can be like, okay, I can just rock out real quick in C minor. You got your C minor licks there, but you can do after you get that A flat, you can do an arpeggio of the A flat, but you also just keep rocking in C minor because that works because it's the flat 6 chord. And then when you get to G major, you can kind of do an arpeggio there. Right, so knowing when to sort of do your minor pentatonic licks and then bending up stuff up to include some major flirtations, right? Like that note. That's 6 there. Like you can do all the, like that little, and then right, so did some kind of played around the A flat there. Little licks like that every once in a while can sort of make your soloing feel less awkward, so to speak. But that's just a little tip from me. Anyway, fun song. It really grew on me. You know, I learned to sort of appreciate the musical aspects of it. It's fun. And, you know, I hope you had fun learning it, and talk to you next time.